Right now at 6, Carl Junction's mayor is suspended by the city council over alleged derogatory comments about city employees.
And we've got patchy fog to start our Thursday, thunderstorm chances to close it out. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, KDOT has some new plans for US 69, how community input is shaping the roads we drive on.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday, and it is June the 5th, and we are almost done with the first full week of June.
Yes, we certainly are.
And June is, at least this first full week, going out with a bit of a bang as we got thunderstorm chances returning. So we do have the warm weather returning today, which is great. It was a little cool. Nice. I mean, it wasn't bad yesterday. It was a little cool,
Didn't
a little
feel
soggy.
like June, though.
Did not feel like June at all. Today will feel a little more like June, but that is the invitation to the thunderstorms to come on up and join the party as well. Unfortunately. Let's start though with our foggy start to the day. Downtown Pittsburgh, we've got that to deal with. You can see, again, we don't have a lot of significantly reduced visibilities, but we do have some locations with significantly reduced visibilities, which we'll look at in a moment. MoDOT cameras around the metro, you can also see as well, depending on where you are, down by 32nd and Range lines, you can see the fog in the distance. Doesn't look as thick as it is up a little further north of that location, but still, that's the other part of why you've got to watch out for those rapidly changing visibilities. A few stray showers out to our west from some decaying thunderstorms. Again, probably still going to try and clip some of our northwestern counties as they continue to die out. Outside of that, we're all pretty dry. We still have Pittsburgh at this point reporting less than a mile of visibility, but I mean, this stretches in from Pittsburgh, Girard, Frontenac, Lamar, Jasper, Carthage, Joplin, Neosho, Anderson, Grove, and then back to the east. We have this pretty thick area of fog out there, and so that's including all of I-49 and most of I-44 as well. So again, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them, and just again, be prepared for rapidly changing visibility conditions as well. As we go through the day, some isolated showers still showing up on future track. I think the majority of us are dry, but really anywhere at almost any time today, we could get a stray shower or two. Otherwise, we're mostly cloudy, and we are going to be a little bit warmer. And like I said, that invites the storm chances that we're looking at tonight. After midnight, we do have a risk for strong to severe thunderstorms rolling through the area overnight tonight, and then overnight tomorrow night. This is almost a copy and paste thing here. Another round from Friday night into Saturday morning of strong to severe thunderstorms will be possible, and we could have a few strong storms late in the day Saturday as well, but that risk, as you can see, is a little lower out there. All right, 64 in Joplin, 65 in Pittsburgh. KDOT camera there too. We're looking back to the south, and you can see that fog out there on 69. Temperatures across the area, we're all into the 60s, and now we're pretty much all into the mid to upper 60s. Looks like right now Bentonville, the warm spot at 68, and the cool spots, Joplin, Pitt, and Fort Scott, both sitting at 64. But do not worry, we will all eventually warm up into the upper 70s today. Again, mostly cloudy, northeast breeze 5 to 10, and of course some of our southern counties, example, Bentonville right now is the warm spot. Some of our southern counties may make the low 80s today. They're getting a little more seasonable. We have all those thunderstorm chances. It's not just tonight, it's tomorrow night, and it's the next night. We'll talk about that and next week's heat here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. So a suspect from a 2023 bar shooting in Pittsburgh takes a plea deal. Jamon Allen entered a plea deal for multiple charges, including voluntary manslaughter and aggravated battery. Crawford County prosecutors originally charged Allen with murder in the first degree following a fatal shooting at Jimmy B's in Pittsburgh. Allen's sentencing is scheduled for August 22nd. The shooting happened in August 2023 at around 1:15 in the morning at Jimmy B's. Responders discovered Justin Krogan of Pittsburgh had been shot outside of the bar and died from his injuries. Authorities believed it stemmed from an argument. Well, the Carl Junction City Council voted to suspend the mayor during Tuesday night's meeting. The motion to suspend Mayor Mike Moss passed by a vote of 6-2. The motion comes after Councilmember James Schenk submitted a report alleging the mayor repeatedly referred to female employees as, quote, Steve's harem, a reference to the city administrator, Steve Lover. Now, Now, in the complaint, Shank says the comments were made before and after Moss was elected. He also says he fears faith in the city could be eroded by such slanderous reference. Outside counsel was hired during the meeting to consult about the ethics complaint filed against Moss. And now you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku. The player is also available on our news and weather apps as well as our website. Watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free. The KOAM Plus TV streaming app. Well, the public gets a first look at improvements that will be made to the US 69 corridor in Crawford County, Kansas. The Kansas Department of Transportation is hosting a series of public meetings showing and explaining final concepts for the plan and laying out which ones are already funded. The plan covers an 18-mile stretch of the highway from the Arma area south to the Crawford-Cherokee County line, which includes the bypass around Pittsburgh. Public meetings were held in both Frontenac and Pittsburgh yesterday. The presentations include this simulated aerial view of the future stretch of highway. There are 15 intersections in the plan, and changes include entrance consolidations, a number of roundabouts, and turning lanes. Funding is already secured for many of the projects.
15 projects we have identified. KDOT is committed to complete them. We have some that are committed for construction, and then the remainders are committed for final design, just to get them up to design. We don't have the construction money committed to them yet. They've identified the ones to be committed for completion based on a series of things, what we have left for funding in the IKE transportation program.
The KDOT presentation lays out which intersections are low, medium, and high priority. Work is set to begin on the projects from 2026 to 2029, and KDOT will hold two more public meetings today. One will be at the Homer Cole Center in Pittsburgh from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The other will be at Northeast High School in Arma from 4 to 6. Then a virtual open house will be held online on Friday from 11 a.m. until noon. You can find a link to that meeting, a link to the animated simulation of the entire project, and of course much more at KOAMNewsNow.com. Well, the oldest building in the USD 247 school district is over a century old and facing serious maintenance challenges. Now, earlier yesterday, the Southeast Elementary School in Weir, Kansas hosted a public tour followed by a special meeting to discuss the building's condition and future. Increased water damage has disrupted learning and raised safety concerns, and despite ongoing repairs, major renovations are needed.
You know, some people have a lot of emotion tied to old buildings where they've gone to school, and I got to hear some of those people visiting out front. It was fun to listen to them. Again, it's trying to do what's best for our kids and our community right now to move forward, whatever that looks like.
The board decided to temporarily close the main campus building and move the 3rd and 4th graders to the middle school until further studies can be conducted. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. A manhunt is underway in Washington for the father officials believe killed his 3 young daughters. And we have a warm and mostly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Galena, Kansas, ahead of Galena Days. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning, a tragedy in Washington state is leading to a manhunt through tricky terrain. Authorities are searching for a father they believe killed his 3 young daughters after picking them up for a scheduled visit last week. They believe the Army veteran may have skills that could help him hide for months in the wilds of central Washington. Jared Hill has the latest and a warning. Some of the details may be disturbing.
In the wilderness of Washington state, an intensifying search for the man accused of killing his 3 young daughters.
These young girls were a victim.
32-year-old Travis Decker hasn't been seen since getting the 3 girls for a planned visit last Friday. Their mother reported them missing later that day. Then Monday, investigators found 9-year-old Peyton, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia zip-tied and asphyxiated near a campground, according to court documents.
I don't know anyone in the community who wasn't crushed.
Decker, an Army veteran, is now wanted on 3 counts of murder and kidnapping. According to our CBS affiliate Cairo 7, Decker had missed all scheduled drills with the National Guard over the past year, and the girl's mother has raised concerns about his mental health.
Travis has really struggled since he left the military, and his mental health can be hard sometimes.
Last year, she told a court, Travis just keeps getting more and more unstable. He has made huge sacrifices to serve our country and loves his girls very much, but he has got to get better for our girls. Making the search more difficult, authorities say Decker has extensive survival training.
We have learned so far through our investigation today that he is well versed in outdoor survival. And talking with his father, it sounds at times that he would go out and would be leaving off grid for sometimes up to 2.5 months.
But from the land and air, the search continues. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Now, although the Washington State Patrol was asked to issue an Amber Alert, it did not do so. Police say that was because Decker had a legal right to see his kids and there was no indication they were in danger. Well, still to come, new research shows that heat waves could worsen disease outbreaks. Plus, Chris returns with another look at your Thursday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, some students in Fairfax County, Virginia got to do some hands-on work that resulted in lots of play. They designed and built a retro arcade inside their school. Photojournalist Edwin Gonzalez checked it out and shares the sights and sounds.
You survived way too long.
This is Mr. King's class.
Me and the students designed an arcade in order to take all of our skills from the year that we've learned. I've been playing video games my whole life. When I was a kid, I had my first job when I was 12. I would grab a roll of quarters from my paycheck and I would go to the arcade and I would spend them all. We have some classic games like Miss Pac-Man, Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, we have a bunch of computers and games that we can play.
We don't know what this game is called. We just started playing it. Yeah.
I'm playing an old Wolverine game. I think I'm supposed to be fighting off one of the villains.
I'm Captain Commando. And we're just fighting each other, trying to win.
It's really important to give them activities that they enjoy.
Oh yeah, bow.
I think that it's really important to teach our future generations not only how to do something, but how to connect with other people, build relationships.
It's nice to see this year that everyone's like, laughing, having friends, and having fun.
This is really fun. Very interesting. I didn't know that we had this. Oh, I won in our school.
Well, Edison Academy is part of Thomas A. Edison High School, and it offers specialized programs, including STEM courses. Let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're dealing still with some patchy fog out there and some dense fog in some locations. And we've got our thunderstorm chances overnight tonight and again tomorrow night and again into Saturday. Details when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News just after 6:21 now on this Thursday morning, and taking a live look at downtown Pittsburgh. You can see we've still got that fog out there, and we're going to head just south of Pittsburgh by Kansas Crossing. Looking back toward the south, and you can see that visibilities drop off sharply up there. And same from the KDOT camera just north of that at East 520th Avenue. This one looking north, though, toward Pittsburgh. And again, you can see visibilities do drop off. The fog has gotten a little denser in the city of Joplin. You can see from MoDOT cameras, 7th and Range Line, 7th and Garden Grove. So this is out by Duquesne, Dunaweg. Then we've got 32nd and Range Line and 20th and Range Line. And so you can see where the visibilities have dropped dropped off quite a bit. Not below, not zero, but definitely low out there. Pittsburgh still reporting less than a mile of visibility, and you can see that dense fog. We've got it really just about everywhere. If your visibility isn't 10, then you've got reduced visibility. Now, some of it not by much. Miami, for example, down to 8.6. But then you go Grove, Anderson, Joplin, Pittsburgh, Carthage, Nevada, Fort Scott, Stockton, Cassville, Mount Vernon. You got to get the idea here. We've got reduced visibilities. Remember, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them, and also watch out for rapidly changing visibilities as well. You can be driving down a stretch of the highway and you're fine, and then all of a sudden that visibility drops to zero, so you got to make sure you're paying close attention. All right, severe storm threat for today, or day one, which this is really going to roll into in terms of our area after midnight tonight. There is an isolated tornado risk. You can just barely see it clipping us here, but we do have slightly broader this hail risk and that wind risk out there as well, with thunderstorms, that complex we've talked about, expected to roll in again after midnight tonight, and that's the first of at least 2, possibly 3 rounds of strong to severe thunderstorms. Future track into the afternoon. If I can press the right button here, it's twice I've done that this morning. Again, isolated showers are going to be a possibility out there. We might even get a brief break in the clouds this evening, but it will be brief. And then after midnight, here we are at 1 a.m. Here's that complex of storms. It's going to have the slightly higher severe threat with it. Again, nothing extreme. I want to emphasize that. But the greater chances for strong to severe thunderstorms will be with this complex. But the reason we have those risk areas highlighted outside of that is because we could get some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms outside of that complex. By about 3 a.m. or so, that complex dives out of our area. Then we have new thunderstorms across the region by 5 o'clock tomorrow morning that could be strong to severe as well. Those will push through by about 9. They are done, and we'll have a few lingering showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms, and then just basically almost copy and paste what we're expecting tonight into tomorrow morning and put it into Friday night into Saturday morning. Could get some isolated scattered storms Friday afternoon, could be strong, and then late Friday into early Saturday at almost the same time, another round of showers and storms. This one's more scattered, not as widespread as the storms we're expecting tonight into tomorrow, but we could still get some strong to severe thunderstorms in the first part of our Saturday. Then we have another pause, and if you thought it was going to rain again by Saturday evening and overnight, you might be right, but we've got to wait and see exactly how that pans out at this point. There's still conflicting data on that. So here's our severe risks for tomorrow, and this is now on the tomorrow side. This is going to be late tomorrow night into Saturday morning. We do have an isolated tornado risk in the southern half of our area, and then similarly we have the isolated hail risk over a broader portion. Our greater concern once again looks to be with the possibility of some damaging wind gusts out there. And then we head into Saturday. And at least right now, we have a level 1 out of 5 risk for some strong to low-grade severe storms heading into Saturday afternoon. That fog, again, thickening up for some of us. Mostly cloudy skies, 66 to start the day, and up to the low 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. The warm air is what's going to help also bring in that fuel. We're getting that return of the moisture and the energy for these storms for tonight. Into the upper 70s, maybe some low 80s in our southern counties. Low 80s continue into the weekend, and then we start to heat back up again by Wednesday, looking to be close to 90 degrees. So if that's not June enough for you, I don't know what is. I know we've got a few thunderstorm chances by next Thursday. That is a check of your forecast, and here's Elise now with a check of Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the COVID pandemic took a toll on the fitness of children. A study published in JAMA found students across the U.S. performed worse on physical fitness tests during the pandemic and were much less likely to be in the healthy fitness zone for cardiorespiratory and musculoskeletal fitness. The good news, fitness levels have risen since the pandemic ended. Well, heat waves have the potential to make disease outbreaks up to 13 times worse. New research from Trinity College Dublin found not only do heat waves lead to more disease-spreading mosquitoes, the heat can also impact how our immune system functions and our behaviors. Scientists say climate change is also causing mosquitoes to thrive in areas that were once too cool to support them. And your dog could be helping protect your child's skin. A study by the University of Edinburgh found children who were at risk for eczema were less likely to develop the condition if they owned a dog. It's believed exposure to dogs early in life could help suppress skin inflammation, but experts caution that in some cases, exposure to dogs can worsen the condition. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, heavy rains bring flooding conditions back to the 4 states. We take a look at how communities in our area are drying out.
And an opportunity to dry out a little bit today ahead of more storm chances tonight. And of course, fog to deal with for your morning commute. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, a Joplin staple celebrates its diamond anniversary. We'll take you to the establishment that claims it was the city's first Mexican restaurant.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday. It is June the 5th, and it's still the year 2025. Thankfully, we have done no time traveling as of yet.
Maybe next week.
Yeah, perhaps. I can verify for you, though, that there are certain vehicles that once they reach 88 miles an hour, they do not go back in time.
Oh,
one goes airborne,
but
you know, I've been doing scientific research for like the past 15 years, and I've been coming to those conclusions. So don't try it at home, kids. I'm doing it for you. And something else I'm going to do for you is tell you about the fog. I'm going to tell you about the storms, and I'm not trying to be like a Debbie Downer. I just got to tell you about what's happening, and that's what we have. Let's start with that look outside downtown Pittsburgh. I mean, I guess, you know, even when we've got some weather that's less than pleasant, at least when it comes to the fog, we could be more cheery about it. But like, hey, look at that. The clouds, they're like really close to the ground, guys. That's wow. All right, that's cheery enough for you this morning. We've got that fog, though, downtown Pittsburgh. MoDOT cameras around the Joplin area. You can see patchy fog still out there. We do have some areas with significantly reduced visibilities. We also have areas of rapidly changing visibilities where you might be fine for 4 or 5 miles on the road, and then all of a sudden your visibility drops. So you've got to be cautious out there. These are those showers we were talking about, trying to work their way into some of our western counties. Again, they aren't expected to do too much, but again, a few isolated showers may be possible out there. Here's a look at our visibility tracker. Further west, still reduced visibilities. Remember, 10 is where you want to be for clear visibility. Nobody is at 10, but the greatest concern is this almost backwards, I guess that's a two shape from Pittsburgh through Crawford County, Barton County, Jasper, Newton, coming back just clipping Ottawa County, through Delaware and down into Benton County, where Pittsburgh's still reporting less than a mile of visibility, but we have reduced visibilities impacting all of I-49 and most of I-44, so low beams, not dry beams, fog lights if you've got them, and again, be aware for rapidly changing visibility conditions. All right, into the afternoon. We've got the possibility of getting isolated showers. So Future Track's putting these little splotches all over because it's an uncertainty thing. It's an isolated pop-up shower, and so they really could be about anywhere. That's why it looks kind of strange like that. And then as we go overnight tonight, so after midnight, we have the chance for strong to severe thunderstorms. So this is what our risk area is, again, for overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. This is going to be tomorrow night into early Saturday morning, where we have a slightly broader level 2 out of 5 risk out there. This is going to be Saturday afternoon, where we have a level 1 out of 5 risk. We're going to get into those details for you in a few more minutes. We're at 64 in Joplin, 65 in Pittsburgh, so a little bit on the mild side, a bit above normal. Most of us into the mid and upper 60s, but we do have some low 60s out there. Fort Scott looks to be the cool spot at 63. Bentonville still the warm spot at 68. All of us warming up today into the upper 70s, maybe even some low 80s in our southern counties. Mostly cloudy, maybe a stray shower, and northeast winds 5 to 10. We're going to break down all your thunderstorm chances for you over the next few days and talk about the heat up that's happening next week here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll check in with you soon, Chris. Thanks. Well, authorities are encouraging the community to be cautious and aware as the threat of flooding continues to rise around the area. In Missouri, flooding has washed out some roads. Now it caused one driver in Racine to become trapped in their car. The Seneca Area Fire District was able to safely get the driver to dry land. Elsewhere in southwest Missouri, some roads are barricaded and impassable. Other parts of Missouri and Kansas felt the impact of Tuesday's storms. On the Missouri side, damage has mostly been reported around the I-70 corridor near the Truman Sports Complex and in neighborhoods throughout Independence. Downed limbs caused much of the damage to homes and vehicles. Northeast Oklahoma has already begun to experience some flooding of its own, and communities are preparing for even more. The city of Miami has placed barricades in the areas that most frequently flood, such as at Riverview Park. The Neosho River is still rising, with the National Weather Service expecting it to reach its highest level today. National Weather Service projects floodwaters won't begin to recede until Sunday. And officials had to make dramatic water rescues in Wichita as crews from the Wichita Fire Department used a raft to reach a stranded driver. And this has become a common scene over the past 2 days. Firefighters there have received more than 100 calls of submerged vehicles since Tuesday morning. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Well, if you're a fan of books and coffee, you might want to check out the Nevada Public Library's newest tenant. The Precision Coffee Company in Nevada is partnering with the library to provide a new gathering space. Now, they're currently in the process of moving from their old location to a repurposed space in the annex of the library. Precision Coffee hopes their partnership will drive more traffic toward both businesses while providing a new way for people to connect after library programs. Their grand opening is set for June 10th.
As a young child, I spent a lot of time at the library checking out books. That was really highlight of my week, was going to checking out books. And so having that available for parents to come over here and utilize our coffee space is going to be really beneficial.
Now, library and coffee shop pairings seem to be a growing trend. Another coffee shop, the McKay Street Coffee House, will have a soft opening in the Frontenac Library at 2 p.m. today. And Joplin's first Mexican restaurant is marking its 60th anniversary. Casa Montes started in 1965 on 17th Street in Rangeline when Rangeline was a 2-lane highway. Now, since then, the restaurant has survived a fire, a tornado, and of course, a global pandemic. Locals say it's more than just a restaurant. It's a place where neighbors can turn into family. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Amazon is investing billions of dollars in North Carolina, bringing more jobs and support for local schools. Plus, the USDA is issuing a warning on contaminated ground beef. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Galena, Kansas, ahead of Galena Days. In Consumer Watch this morning, Education Secretary Linda McMahon wraps up 2 days of Capitol Hill testimony on Wednesday, grilled by lawmakers about department cuts that will impact students at every level, including those who borrow to help pay for their higher education. The recent federal student loan landscape has created much confusion for current and future borrowers. Karen Kafa is in Washington with what to know.
The White House seeks to slash the Education Department's budget by 15%, and the future of some key federal student loan programs is on the line.
There are millions of people across this country who are just trying to stay on track of all of these changes.
Aisa Canchola Banez, policy director for the Student Borrower Protection Center, says the nonprofit is receiving borrower questions ranging from where to seek help as the Education Department has slashed staff to what President Trump's massive domestic policy bill, as passed by the Republican-led House, could mean for them.
This bill will massively eliminate the number of repayment options that borrowers have at their disposal.
The legislation currently under discussion in the Senate and the Education Department's budget request propose, among other program cuts, limiting federal student loan repayment plans to just 2 options, capping borrowing even for professional programs like medical school, and slashing maximum Pell Grants typically used by low-income undergraduates by about $1,700. Meanwhile, the Trump administration restarted collection of federal student loans in default last month, impacting millions of already squeezed borrowers. Matt Schultz, chief consumer finance analyst for LendingTree, says that could dent the overall economy.
There's no question in my mind that there's going to be a ripple effect in families' budgets as a result of these student loan payments restarting, because most people's financial wiggle room was pretty tiny anyway.
At a time when the U.S. economic outlook is already uncertain. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Amazon is betting big on North Carolina, announcing a $10 billion investment there to expand its cloud computing and artificial intelligence infrastructure. The tech giant claims the move will also create at least 500 jobs in addition to the data centers. Amazon says it will invest in bringing STEM training and educational programs to the local communities. And the Department of Agriculture is urging Americans to check the ground beef in their fridge or freezer. It's warning that some 1-pound packages of organic rancher ground beef could be contaminated with the deadly bacteria E. coli. Now, the meat was sold at Whole Foods locations nationwide. The alert impacts products with use or freeze-by dates of June 19th and 20th. And gamers lined up around the world and in the U.S. yesterday for today's highly anticipated release of the new Nintendo Switch 2. The next generation console is lighter and quieter than its predecessor and more powerful with enhanced AI features. Nintendo predicts it will sell 15 million Switch 2 consoles by next spring, with the price tag starting around $450. Nintendo first debuted the Switch back in 2017. That's a look at Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, still dealing with some patchy fog around the area, and some of it dense in some locations, so you do need to be aware of that. We are going to break down your full forecast, talk about our thunderstorm chances tonight, tomorrow night, and into Saturday, as well as celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this. And it's time to celebrate some Thursday birthdays in the 4 states, and we are going to start with Alex Evans in Frontenac, celebrating birthday number 22. Says happy birthday from all your family. We love you.
And heading over to Jasper, a happy 40th birthday to Christopher Lehman. Wonderful throwback photo there. Happy birthday, Christopher.
And down to Seneca, Kim Turlan, celebrating birthday number 46 today. Very happy birthday to you, Kim.
And happy 66th birthday in Lawton to Candy Dunn.
And we're heading to Riverton for Betty Daniels, celebrating birthday number 94. Very happy birthday to you, Betty.
And a happy 80th birthday to Diana Knight in Weir.
And we also have the Pierces in Carl Junction celebrating their 4th wedding anniversary. A very happy anniversary to all of you.
And also celebrating another year wiser, who's also a 4-state hero here, is a happy birthday to Milo Kellerman.
And continuing our list, we also have one we want to mention very quickly. Did not make it into this list in time, but it's Hayden Buchanan celebrating birthday number 16 in Jasper. Just having a minor technical difficulty, but you know what that means, Hayden? It means you get to party harder. So get out there, enjoy it, and a happy birthday to you.
And a happy 4th anniversary to JD and Leslie Miner in Columbus.
And another 4th anniversary going out to Jesse and Beth Bauer as well. Happy anniversary.
Last but not least, happy birthday to Sally Saporito.
All right, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries. And if you would like to celebrate with us, what should they do?
Yes, please submit your birthdays and your anniversaries to birthdays@koamnewsnow.com. Be sure to include the date of your celebration and include the wonderful photos and messages, and to meet the deadline at the bottom of your screen.
Absolutely. Some great information there, and some great information for you in terms of the weather. We've got some fog to still deal with out there. As you can see from our camera downtown Pittsburgh, KDOT camera 69 at Kansas Crossing, looking back to the south. You can see the fog off in the horizon there. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just north of that camera, south of Pittsburgh, looking to the north. Got some fog out there as well. You maybe even getting a little drizzle. You probably saw, if I back it up really quickly here, well, before the banner plays, we got some little water droplets on there, so maybe some drizzle also with some of this fog. Take a look at some of these visibilities. So this is around Duquesne, Dunaweg. This is 7th and Garden Grove. Again, still dropping. We can still see the traffic light, but that's really about it. Same here, 20th and Range Line, looking back to the south, 7th 7th in range line. This one's looking back to the north. And then 32nd in range line. It looks okay in the immediate area, but you get further off in the horizon, and you can see that fog does thicken up. Here's a look at the actual fog tracker. Pittsburgh still under a mile of visibility. Grove, Anderson, Joplin, Carthage, all less than 2 miles. And we've got Cassville, Mount Vernon at just over 2. So 10, remember, is where you should be. Nobody is at that point, and this is impacting a number of our main highways and roadways. So if you're traveling this morning, once again, low beams, not your high beams. That doesn't help anybody, seriously. Fog lights, if you have them, this is when you use them, not when it's clear outside, not in the middle of the afternoon, but when there's fog. That's why they're fog lights. Now's your time to break those suckers out, and just watch out also for the rapidly changing visibility conditions around the area as well this morning. Outside of that, now we've got thunderstorm chances. And again, we've talked about the day 1, day 2, the day 3, the whole thing that plays out. This is day 1, just today, which is really, in terms of impacting us, going to be after midnight tonight, where we do have the isolated tornado risk just barely clipping some of our northeast Oklahoma counties, but still it is there. But then we have a broader isolated hail risk out there, and then isolated the scattered wind risk as well, with, of course, that level 2 out of 5 for the wind, meaning that the damaging wind gusts are the primary concern with storms tonight. So what does that look like on the future track? Well, it looks like a lot of thunderstorm activity, honestly. Today, though, future track, you could see these little green splotches, and they almost look like static on TV. They're popping around like that because an isolated shower or two is possible. Most of us will be dry, but the reason they're popping around all over the map is because any of us will have that opportunity for an isolated shower, but most of us won't actually see anything. Future track, excuse me, just giving us its interpretation of those shower chances. After midnight, here we are at 1 a.m. That thunderstorm complex we talked about is going to be off to our west late this evening, starts to push into northeast Oklahoma and parts of southeast Kansas. It is with this complex that the better chances of seeing those strong to severe thunderstorms will be. But the reason we have risk areas highlighted out there is because we could see additional strong to low-grade severe storms around that complex as it pushes through. Now, by about 3-4 a.m., you probably saw it disappearing out of Benton County. It's gone, but then we have another round of thunderstorms, but because it comes in right behind that, 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Some of those could be strong to severe as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. That complex moves out of here by about 9, leaving us with just some scattered showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms as we roll into the afternoon. Then by Friday evening, we start to see another round of at least initially isolated storms. And then as we head into very early Saturday morning, another round of scattered storms. Some of those could be strong to severe, but they're a bit more scattered. They're not as widespread as that complex that we're expecting tonight or the one that will follow it tomorrow morning. But we could still get some strong, potentially severe thunderstorms out there. And we could get an isolated, strong or low-grade severe storm into the afternoon and evening on our Saturday. So here's what our threat risk looks like tomorrow. That isolated tornado risk does come up a little further north, the southern half of our area, basically I-44 and south. And then we have the isolated hail risk and the isolated to scattered wind risk out there as well. And as we head into Saturday, as I mentioned in the afternoon, a strong or low-grade severe storm possible. You can see we've got that level 1 out of 2 risk, or 1 out of 5 risk there. Another look at that dense fog from our camera 7th and range line. Mostly cloudy skies through the morning, mid-60s to start, low 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. We're going to be warmer today, which is what's helping set the stage for our incoming storm chances. We'll talk more about that with your another look at your forecast here in a minute. We're also going to have the news you need to know, and I'm going to have more coffee. And in between, if you decide to stick with us at 7 a.m. on Fox 14 or hang out with us here on KOAM Plus, we're going to see if edible sunscreen, which does not sound like a good idea anyway, can actually protect you in the sun. Details at 7 a.m.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The public gets a first look at improvements that will be made to the US 69 corridor in Crawford County, Kansas. The plan covers an 18-mile stretch of the highway from the Arma area south to the Crawford-Cherokee County line, which includes the bypass around Pittsburgh. Work is set to begin on the projects from 2026 to 2029. And Jamon Allen enters a plea deal for multiple charges, including voluntary manslaughter and aggravated battery for a shooting in 2023. Crawford County prosecutors originally charged Allen with murder in the first degree, following a fatal shooting at Jimmy B's in Pittsburgh. Allen's sentencing is scheduled for August 22nd. And the Carl Junction City Council voted to suspend the mayor, Mike Moss, during Tuesday night's meeting. The motion comes after Councilmember James Shank submitted a report alleging the mayor repeatedly referred to female employees as, quote, Steve's harem, a reference to the city administrator, Steve Lawver. Outside counsel was hired during the meeting to consult about the ethics complaint filed against Moss. Now to check up today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, remember patchy fog out there this morning. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, isolated drizzle or showers. We'll make it into the upper 70s and some low 80s in our southern counties. Mostly cloudy through the evening. Thunderstorm chances increase after midnight. Some of those, again, could be strong to severe leading into early tomorrow morning. Then we could have another round of strong, potentially severe storms from Friday night into early Saturday. A few isolated strong storms possible by Saturday afternoon. We'll dry out by Sunday and heat up by next Wednesday.
And coming up today at noon, we're making famous creamy Italian dressing in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOM with CBS Mornings. Coming up next, Pushing the Limits series. We're going to meet a California farmer who has found major success in the world of off-road racing and how he's testing the boundaries of human endurance.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, David Peisinger joins us in the studio to talk about the March for Jesus that's happening this weekend.
Plus, we're going to hear from a few organizers about Joplin's Cars and Coffee event also happening this weekend. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. Of course, could have those thunderstorms tomorrow morning, so we'll be right back here at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.